Where would you say the future of work is heading as we transition to the post-pandemic world, which hopefully we are in the post-pandemic world to a degree?
Yeah, I mean, I remember saying this, the future of work is now, we're in the future of work. And for sort of HR practitioners like me, David, who've been talking about the future of work for almost a decade now, there's clearly a sense that we are in it now. And there are a couple of things I will say before we move to the topic around skills in particular, because I do believe that's going to be the big currency. I'm a firm believer that HR, that has traditionally been a custodian of jobs, is going to move to becoming a custodian of skills. And that, for me, it's a really welcome change, but also it's a real opportunity for functions to sort of reimagine the role of HR sort of going forward. So the first thing I will say is, so what does it mean practically? I do believe the power balance has shifted. It is much more towards employees. We talk a lot about war for talent. Actually, the war for talent is actually a war for hot skills. There's skills that are in demand, and people who have the skills in demand are in a far more privileged position today to be able I use negotiate in a very positive sense, to have much more of a bargaining power when they talk about the kind of work they want to do and what and how they want to do it. It's become very clear to us in all of the research that we have done, to win in the war for skills, money is important, but it's increasingly becoming a hygiene factor. People are thinking about their employment proposition far more holistically. And as they are thinking about the employment proposition far more holistically, companies have to think about what are some of the big bets that they want to make as far as the future of work is concerned in competing in this future of work. For us, there have been a few things that it is a continuation of the work that we started pre-pandemic, but has definitely been accelerated by the pandemic. The first thing is, purpose is here to stay. I spoke about it in 2019, I'll speak about it again. People want to buy from purpose-driven businesses. People want to work for purpose-driven businesses. We have found in the EVP research we have done pre-pandemic, but the scores got amplified post-pandemic, is doing a job that delivers impact is as important, if not more, in certain pockets than the compensation levels for the job. And so this idea of purpose and people finding meaning in the work is going to be really a critical part of an overall employment proposition. Flexibility is here to stay. Flexibility is not just where you work, but how you work and what you work on. Definitely there to stay. The third big trend for us is companies, people wanting to work for companies that are happy to take a stand on broader societal issues. So this idea that, I want to work for a company and a CEO, and that links back to the purpose, but it's not just hidden behind it. People want to work for companies that are now very vocal in the role that they play in the world. And this thing about the move about when, how, where has led to, and this idea of flexibility has led to us thinking a lot about how do we pivot to becoming a much more skill-based organization. And like I said, being a custodian of skills as compared to traditional jobs. And that's coming from all of the employee listening we want to do. People want companies to play a more proactive role in reskilling, upskilling them for the future, making them continuing to be relevant for the future of work. People want career development and growth as key parts of the employment proposition. So a lot of the shifts that one is seeing in the world of work actually play into the move that needs to happen towards skill.
In this series, we will be speaking to a range of senior leaders who are pushing a data-driven and digital HR agenda. Make sure that you subscribe via your podcast app of choice and also via our YouTube channel for free and regular interviews with the digital HR leaders of the future.